Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
What's good, Nelson?
What's good?
Yeah.
That's a new one.
I know. A new one every week. That's
okay.
my thing.
Okay.
For like, no, I reckon I can do like six.
Okay.
6 greetings.
6 new greetings.
Yes.
And then you just recycle them up.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, okay. What's good? Vegemite on toast.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
good.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's a little better than okay.
It's good. So the key thing, because some of our listeners aren't Australian, so they'd be like, Vegemite, oh my God, disgusting. The key to Vegemite is not too much Vegemite and way too much butter.
No, disagree.
Really?
If I have too much butter on my Vegemite like toast, I think I don't like too much butter.
Really?
Yeah. When it's like a little bit. When it's got pools of butter, I don't like that.
Oh, right.
Any sort of like minor, not like big pools, but you know, like if you can see the liquid on there, I don't know.
It does always. It's always like it's a visceral reaction whenever I see the classic like Vegemite taste test, and it's like a spoon in the Vegemite eating it.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. Like,
don't do that.
No, don't do that. It'd be like, I'm going to taste this toothpaste. I'll squeeze a bunch into my mouth. That's not how you apply toothpaste.
Yeah.
There's a method to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah. I thought it was funny, the idea actually of getting other countries to try a Vegemite.
Yeah. And
then quickly decided that it's not as entertaining as it sounds, I think, because it's funny to be like, oh, they're going to do it wrong. And then there was a podcast I wrote into one time, and I said, "Hey, you guys should try Vegemite," because occasionally they just do like, they just tried foods. They were a Dota podcast. Occasionally, they just tried food.
I mean, this is a Reddit podcast, and we don't always talk about.
And we're
Reddit.
talking about Vegemite. So. Anyway, and then they were like, "Okay." And I said, so you have to like only put a little bit on, blah, blah. And they did it. And they were like, oh, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's best case scenario. You do it like, you're like, oh, you got to try Vegemite this way. And then they'll eat it and go, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, it's a bit salty. But yeah. I can see the appeal. Yeah. Like, oh, next time I should be like, lather that shit on.
I don't know why I was watching this. Do you ever find yourself like watching a YouTube video and then about halfway through the video you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So I was watching, and it was this American girl, and she'd been living in Australia for 1 month, and it was all the differences that she'd noticed.
Okay.
And she goes, the weirdest thing is no one here has a drying machine. Like no one. I've never seen anyone with a drying machine. What? They just don't have them here. Like
we got heaps.
Yeah. I don't know where you're living, but we do.
Like a lot of households.
I think it's maybe she was under the impression because Australia invented the Hills Hoist, the washing line.
Right.
That we're so proud of it.
Maybe we just have more washing lines.
Maybe.
In and around. Because I don't know, where was she from? Because if you're from New York, you don't have washing line. You have to use a dryer. So
I feel like, because she's only been here for a month, I just feel like the apartment building she was living in didn't have a dryer.
No one now. We don't have one, actually.
No, we don't have one.
Maybe she's right.
But I think everyone else I know has one.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, I don't know why I was watching that video or why I brought up on this podcast. Because as you'll note, that was mildly interesting at best.
That's fine. That's what we go for. Speaking of mildly interesting, you've been called out, Cambo.
Yep.
Stacey wrote in.
Yep.
From last week, we were talking about birthday cards.
Yes.
And you
should we point out Stacey's my girlfriend? For context.
Yeah. And her mum does have it going on.
Yes. Yes.
Actually, I haven't seen her mum, but I just imagine, obviously.
Look, Nelson.
I assume the stereotype is there
true.
for a reason. She wrote in and she says, "Hi guys, Cambo's cards. I call bullshit on his reasoning. Cambo says that he doesn't hate cards. He just doesn't think he needs to display an impersonal Christmas card from a company. Yet, when a group of people give him a card with beautiful personal messages in it, he still puts it straight in the bin. Yeah, it certainly suggests that he places the same value on his personal friendships as he does a company he hired one time. It is also worth noting that his office nickname is Mr. C.
Yes.
And the C doesn't stand for Cambo.
No.
So maybe he has a bit of a reputation for being the worst. Okay.
Am I able to respond?
I will allow you to respond.
Okay. First of all, I didn't publicly want to address my personal life, but it's been dragged out to the public.
Yeah, well.
I find this as nothing more than a cheap attempt at character assassination.
Okay, continue.
Well, okay. So I received, I think I talked about it the week previous, or maybe the one before. I received 16 birthday cards from people around the office.
Wow, you're so loved.
You're so loved. But I probably would have felt more sentimental about them had I not known it was an orchestrated thing just to annoy me.
Yes.
So every time I got one, I would say, wow, where'd you get the card?
Yeah.
And the first girl panicked. She goes, Australia Post. Like, the post office?
Yeah.
Okay, not the news agents. She's like, it was combined. It was the news agents. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I would read it. And then I also noticed that they were all the same company of card.
Yeah.
Which was interesting as well. So the fact that it was orchestrated specifically to annoy me.
Yes.
In the bin.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like the sentiment was fake. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I see.
In fact, it's almost like mocking me, saying, you think that all these people like you, but this is an orchestrated attempt to make you look like a dickhead.
Okay, true. And not that I disagree with your point, but just to play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Last week you said you got a card from your mum and it was already in the bin.
Yeah.
So
I found, actually, I turns out I told a lie.
Yeah.
Found it down the back of a car seat.
Oh, okay. It's even worse.
More
you
sentimental.
You didn't even try to throw it.
I was. But, I mean, okay, first of all, also, I say first of all, but it's like my third point. A lot of people were giving me flack in the office because I threw out all their cards.
Yeah.
And this one girl in particular was like, how could you do that? I'm like, well, where are your cards? Like, what do you do with your cards? She said, well, they're all in a box. I've kept every single birthday and Christmas card I've ever got.
Oh my God.
In a box in my bedroom. I'm like, that is the weird thing. I feel like I'm not the weird one in this situation.
That's way weirder.
That's way weird.
That's way weird.
Do you ever get them out and reread them?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I want to know if she keeps the ones from friends that felt obligated, where they get the card and it just says, hey, and then the happy birthday, which is pre-written, printed on there, and then from whoever.
Yeah.
I want to know if she keeps those ones.
Yeah. Oh, and okay, so that was my first point about character assassination. Re the cards.
Yeah.
Character assassination in general from someone that is supposed to love me.
Yes.
Is an ongoing thing. So I was explaining to her one time that you and I don't have a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Right? And she said, oh, that's a bit weird. I'm like, yeah, but, like, we don't have a family or anything here. Like, we're not really going to put presents under it or anything like that. It just seems like kind of effort to put up and down. So we just didn't get one.
Yeah.
I think that seems reasonable enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So at her parents' house with her mum's birthday, who, by the way, has it going on.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you right now.
Okay. Yep, good.
Yep.
It's not going to be weird if she listens.
No. She said, oh, here's a fun fact. Michael hates Christmas trees.
Well,
and again, I was like, I feel like this is taken out of context. But from that onwards, you then have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't hate Christmas trees.
Yeah.
I don't own a Christmas tree.
I think you should lean into it.
I don't hate motorbikes. I also just don't own a motorbike.
Yeah. No, I think that's your perfect point to try and turn it around on her and say, yes, I do hate Christmas trees, and declare this in front of her family, and then start saying, if I see a Christmas tree, I'm going to burn it down, and get a little bit weird about it. And so then she's like, oh crap, I have to defend everything you're saying so my parents don't think you're weird. I mean, you risk the relationship, but it's a good, a good get back.
Yeah.
So to speak.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right, let's get into
Okay, enough of my personal...
Yeah, I'm sick of your life.
Me too. I might end it all. I'll walk up the balcony.
Jesus. Okay, this first Reddit on Reddit is by I Post When I Want. I Post When I Want. Okay. And this was in the subreddit Crazy Ideas.
Ooh, okay.
Private prisons should be paid by how long former inmates stay out of jail after they serve their full sentence. That's going to be hard to keep track of.
Yeah. That's I was trying to think, like, I know silence isn't good on a podcast, but just when we're both silent.
Yeah.
I was just trying to calculate, like, what if they just get away with the crimes? Like, it doesn't mean they're reformed, it just means they're a better criminal.
Yeah, I mean, that's still good. Is it? Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I see what you mean.
Because they'd be like, geez, I robbed that armored car, but now I know where I went wrong. And then I can rob more armored cars and get caught less. Is that prison doing a good job?
Right, yeah, well, because, I mean, the assumption is that as soon as somebody comes out of prison, they are reformed.
Yeah.
So it's only until they work that out. So are you saying more so, like, if they rob an armored car and they get away with it for longer, do you go from the point at which they robbed the armored car or the point at which they were caught?
So what my point is they rob an armored car. That's number one. That's attempt number one. And they're caught, they're sent to prison, and they're reformed.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then they're released. And the prison is going, okay, now you're released.
Yeah.
Depending on how long it takes for you to come back.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we're judged.
Yeah.
But in the time in prison, if they've just worked out where they went wrong robbing that armored car and talked with all the other criminals and worked out how to better rob armored cars and then continue to get away with it from then on.
I see what you mean. I just think we're kind of missing the point here.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you're looking for loopholes.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's what we like to do in this show. This is a loophole that I was thinking about.
Okay. Do we ever directly head-on answer a question? Or do we always just try and skirt around it with loopholes?
Skirting is what we do best. Okay. Here's what we do. We buy a prison.
Okay, yep. We'll start a Patreon.
We'll start...
We don't quite have the money
we don't.
off our own backs, but maybe we start a Patreon for this show.
I mean, it depends.
It'll help us keep the lights on for the podcast, sure, but also fund that prison.
fund the prison.
That's one you don't hear much on a podcast when they do a Patreon shout-out.
Yeah.
Oh, it just helps us with hosting fees and stuff like that. We're funding a prison.
And also, one of the guards got killed the other day, and we'd really like to replace them.
We have to pay out his life insurance policy to his wife. That's a whole thing.
Yeah. Do you know, okay, side story, now that we're getting off track. I spoke to a friend last night, and he said that he was working at a prison just briefly, like, not necessarily as a guard, but like as, I don't know, something in a prison.
Sure.
And he quit. He only lasted a couple of months, and the reason was... one of the guards got totally brutally bashed.
Right.
He survived.
Yeah.
But it was like his Achilles heel was like slashed and like all this. He said he was just like totally beaten up and destroyed. And they went back and watched some of the tapes to the CCTV to try and work out what was happening.
Sure.
And he said the guard was just standing there. And then the inmates just attacked him.
Oh.
There was literally no...
He didn't provoke them or anything like that.
Them. And like, I don't know, maybe you could say there was like, that guard had, I don't know, done something previously.
There was a history.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it was just nothing caused it. They just came up and beat the shit out of him. And he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of prison. Because I don't... If you're just going to get beaten up by not provoking anyone, then yeah. Anyway, okay, so we buy prison.
Sure.
We take in tons of prisoners.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing crap.
Yeah. Do we take in the worst prisoners or just any prisoner? Like we'll take tax evasion, we'll take whatever. Because you're going for volume.
No. We're going for volume.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. Part of this plan is volume.
Right.
Quantity over quality.
Right. Like unpaid parking fines, stuff like that.
Yeah. And we... and then what we do is... because obviously they get sentenced for an X amount of time.
Sure.
But there is such a thing as good behavior stuff, and you can shorten the sentence. So when we get all the criminals in, we they just do anything remotely okay. We say, "Oh, that's time off your sentence." That's you did a great job.
Say for example, the prisoners have to wait at the doors, and then they buzz open and they slide open and they come through.
Yeah.
And if that happens, they're like, "Oh, thank you." Like, that was very polite. That's 2 days off.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Even just I don't know, covering their mouth when they cough.
Right.
I'm thinking about the smallest things. And so we're training out prisoners all the time.
Yeah.
And okay, a prisoner leaves, right? And they're not.
Is he reformed?
And
maybe.
He's probably not reformed, right? This guy in particular murdered 3 children,
right,
and a grandmother.
But he was a very polite young man the whole time he was in prison.
But he was so polite.
He just had to keep shaving time off.
He said that one guy, but that was kind of one out of many, manners using kind of.
And he seemed regretful, so
yeah.
We weren't too harsh. Okay, so this murderer is let out.
So he's let out.
Yeah.
He murders again. Whoops. But presumably, if this system is brought in, you'd think that there's a dollar amount for every day that they're gone.
Sure.
Let's say it's just $5.
$5 a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that guy doesn't murder for a few days, it's an extra few bucks. And then what happens? They catch him. We go, oh, damn it. Don't worry. We'll reform him again. We get him back in.
Yeah.
And then we release him again a few days later.
So your whole thing is not fewer people released for longer times. It's more people released for shorter times, but very high volume.
Yeah.
Right.
Just all the time. Just every day.
Yeah.
In fact, realistically, we could put them on a conveyor belt. Where they just stand on and they go through and back out again.
What you're describing here is it sounds like a themed hotel.
Okay.
People come in, if they've got stuff with them, you'd be like, don't unpack.
Yeah.
Don't unpack just yet. Don't get too comfy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've only given me one prison uniform. You won't need a second.
Yeah.
You'll be out of here soon.
Yeah,
in fact, that was a good point.
Yeah.
There's a couple of days off.
Yeah. I appreciate you trying to help improve the place.
Right. Crime would be at an all-time high in this town.
Yeah, because prison is of no consequence.
Yes. Yeah.
But there are studies to say that prison doesn't deter crime anyway. So why do we even have prisons?
Yeah.
For us to make money, that's why.
Yeah. That's a good loophole. I'm fully against.
Yeah.
We don't have a Patreon, nor do we plan to really start one.
Yeah.
But if we do, there will be a clause that it will partly go to fund our prison.
Yeah. That's right. But then after a while, obviously, we'll drop the Patreon because we're making so much money from the prison.
Obviously,
the
Patreon
going in and out
will
all the
be
time.
a stopgap.
Yeah.
Between us now and us running a fully functioning prison, we'll have to do a Patreon for, I don't know, no more than 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you want the Reddit on Reddit combo deal, be part of the Patreon, help fund the prison, but also buy one of our only merchandise we've ever created, I Heart Jury Nullification t-shirt.
Yeah.
And at the trial, for any of the prisoners, feel free to go along wearing that if you're part of the jury.
If you're part of the jury. No, that's how you get out of jury duty.
That's true.
So, you know what? I don't know. We'll work out something.
It's just it's a prison combo deal. If you don't want to be part of the legal proceeding at any point, be it prison or jury duty in courtroom, that's the combo pack. Support the Patreon and buy the I Heart Jury Nullification t-shirt.
That's right. And come to think of it, should we advertise this podcast to more criminals?
Don't see why not.
Because I mean, if I was a criminal, that sounds like a great prison. So then, this is a win-win-win. All right, anyway, let's get into Today I Learned. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Let's play the intro to that. Today I Learned. This Today I Learned is by Relevant Swimmer. Today I learned in 1140, a German king captured a castle and ordered all the women of the castle to leave with whatever they could carry on their backs. Thinking quickly, the women carried their men on their backs. The king kept his word and let the men live.
Wow. That's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
That is a very decent king to be like, you know what? You got me.
He's like, oh, you found the loophole. I
can't even be mad.
Yeah, I'm impressed more than anything.
I mean, once you're outside of the bounds of the castle, I will slaughter you all, obviously.
Yeah. But
you're in with a chance.
Yeah. And you would be really worried, right, if you weren't in a good marriage.
Yeah, like you were the classic sitcom situation: heavy-set guy, petite wife.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh no.
You're always telling her that her food's cold and it's rubbish and.
Oh, see, I was just going for like. Just physically, the body types don't match up. Like Marge Simpson carrying Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Is that going to realistically happen?
That'd be a problem.
I don't know.
How? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You're talking about if you've been treating your wife bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was 1140, okay? Right. History hasn't shown that men treat women very well.
No, it's 2018, and even now, it's pretty iffy.
Yeah. I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity for... a woman who is treated poorly by her husband to then go, oh, looks like the shoe is on the other foot. And I'd just carry other stuff out if I was her.
Do you think it would be a chance if you
had children as well? Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Just so the men gone.
Yeah, all the kids died.
Yeah.
Would it be a good chance? And obviously, it's not the ideal time, but it's also like... no time like the present, and you've got that advantage to just test how well your partner knows your relationship.
Oh,
all right, you can jump on my back just quickly. When's our anniversary? When's my birthday? When's my mother's birthday?
Yeah, one of those is around Christmas time, I remember, because we're always short on money because of the Yeah.
Anyway, honey, it was good to know you. I guess so.
I'm done.
It's going to jump out this window right here.
Yeah, I'll just give up. What I thought was also funny about this statement is that it says, thinking quickly, the women carried the men on their backs. Like the king was like, it was like, yeah, you can take whatever you want. You have to carry it on your back. And he's like, but I'm only going to give you 5 seconds to think about what you can carry on your back. Like, I'm sure it wasn't necessarily a thinking quickly thing.
You think it was like maybe like on Countdown, he started the big clock.
Yeah.
And it had the 30 seconds. And where's everyone gone?
Yeah.
So they carried the man on their backs.
He's like, oh, that's a good idea.
I shouldn't have turned my back in a very pompous, theatrical way.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just like the way that sometimes, I mean, this is a bit of a stretch, but I like the way that sometimes people, I guess, romanticize history.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they thought really quickly on their feet to carry them in. But I'm like, I'm sure it would have been this idea of like, there would have been time, even if only a few minutes.
Yeah. Where it was discussed.
To just be like, to discuss, hey, why don't you try carrying me on your back? And then as soon as one person does it, then the rest are like, okay, let's give that a go. Like, I think that there's this idea of, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Like that romanticized history. Yeah. I always think about that whenever you hear people's famous last words.
Yeah.
For instance, Oscar Wilde, his last words were reportedly, either these drapes must go or I shall go. And then he died.
Yeah.
But I reckon he said that.
Yeah.
And then he's probably like, I'm cold.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Yeah. But that was the last good thing he said.
Yeah.
He was like, where am I? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, let's do the good one.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually. I'm sure there's tons of those because who's gonna want to like? I'm betting there's some people who've said some ripper things just before they died.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that has said, "Oh, I just crap myself."
Yeah.
And then,
or maybe he was like,
problem.
either these drapes must go or I will. That was good, wasn't it? Yeah. That's a good last word.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up now.
I would want those to be my last words. Because then everybody would be thinking what my second last words were. If my last words were just, oh, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
That's some great last words. Were the last thing Nelson ever said.
Yeah. I wish I could time my death so that I have a last word. And I'd make it real cryptic too.
Right. What kind of thing?
I think it would be like...
Something like don't look under. Like, under what?
Yeah. Well, that's more...
Under what? And what's under there?
I think I'd try to go for something that people try to find meaning behind.
Right.
So I might say something like, and thus the flamingo has danced.
Right.
Right? Means nothing.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to find meaning in that. Like, oh,
in a way, the flamingo was his life.
Yeah, he was very pink.
And it has danced. He has lived his life. The flamingo has danced.
Yeah.
And then I'll come in and be like,
no.
I knew him. He has prepared this statement.
Yeah.
To anyone who found any meaning in my last words, you're an idiot. The flamingo has danced means nothing.
Yeah. All right, here's another one for you. This is by Question Dudes. Today I learned Okinawans in Japan are the only human population to have a self-imposed habit of calorie restriction. They believe in eating until they are 80% full and has the world's highest proportion of centenarians.
People that are over 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not centaurs.
No, though that would be cool.
That would be
okay, so they have a self-imposed calorie restriction.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Which I think, by the sounds of this, is not like they count it, but it is just that idea of...
You don't need to eat till you're completely full.
Yeah.
In fact, this has become more and more a popular thing, especially with things like intermittent fasting.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if you've... Like, that's a pretty big trend in, like, bodybuilding and stuff at the moment. There's a guy, a dietitian, and he has a pretty well... Like, a pretty, like top of the charts book, and it's called the 2 meal a day plan. And his whole thing is you eat 3 times because you're just used to eating 3 times.
Yeah.
But you don't need to. Your body doesn't need as much as you think it does.
Yeah.
So I just cut one of them. I think he cuts breakfast.
Yep. They say that's the most important meal.
Yeah. But
I don't ever eat breakfast.
No.
I probably only eat 2 meals a day.
Someone said that to me the other day. I said it because I said I didn't have breakfast. And like, most important meal of the day. That's what they say. I'm like, yeah, do you know who said it? People that market breakfast cereal. That's where it came from. I'm pretty sure it was like, I'm sure I'm probably wrong, but it was like a Kellogg's or someone like that.
Yeah.
Came up with the phrase, breakfast, the most important meal of the day.
Because it sounds like it would be.
Yeah.
I think it's like a really believable lie.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to say that before I die. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And they're like, oh, he's right.
But technically, what breakfast is, I mean, it's in the name break fast. It's just the first time you eat, which is an important meal, for sure, because you're eating.
Yeah.
But lunch can technically, this is going to get meta, lunch can technically be a breakfast.
Yeah.
Because you're breaking your fast.
Yeah, that's true. But then what's a brunch?
Oh, my God. That's a whole thing unto itself, Nelson.
Yeah. I think this is... I think that it is really good and definitely should probably be an adopted habit of most people. Because being born into an Italian family, well, an Italian mother anyway.
Yeah.
And
Ellingham, not the most Italian.
Yeah, he's pretty un-Italian. But there was, food was kind of a big part, and even so much less so that I've like fully blown Italian family. But obviously it was like, I don't know. I didn't really, I guess, understand that my meals were that big when I was younger until I had friends over or stuff like that. Or I would go to a friend's place and I'm like, oh, is this all you're eating? But I'm getting like a huge plate full of rice or something. And my mum's always like encouraging, even to my niece and nephew right now, my mum is just like basically force feeding them sometimes. Although it's a little bit harder with kids because you never really know if they're full or not, because then that's a whole nother story. Anyway, But yeah, just the idea of like eating or like basically overeating. Because I think if you eat to the point where you're full, I actually reckon that's overeating.
Yeah.
Because when you're full, you kind of don't feel great. Do you? You never like...
No. You feel lethargic.
Yeah, you feel a little bit lethargic. It's like, I don't know. There's just something about being full that I think it makes sense that probably, putting stress on your body, just processing all the...
Yeah. I think I've said before as well, and this is not scientific, but sometimes when I'm eating, and even if I'm really enjoying the meal, there's always that point in the meal where you exhale. Yeah. You go, whew, like that. And if I ever find myself doing it, I'll just stop eating. Even if I'm really enjoying the meal, because I'm like, I think my body is telling me, take a break.
Yeah. And I think it's also, it's got to be partly to do with the way that our society is right and how readily food available is. Because I was always told, like, don't leave anything off your on your plate.
Yeah.
And I think, for one, it's the fact that we put too much on our plate in the first place.
Yes. And I also feel like, because that's your parents being like, I pay for that food.
Yeah.
Don't you waste that money.
Yeah. And then they say, oh, there's starving kids in Africa. And you're like, well, they can have it.
And you're like, well, this is never going to get to them, is it?
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, all I'm saying to our listeners is don't eat as much.
Yeah. Live like that village in Japan.
Yeah. Okinawa. Anyway, let's move into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought is by Ban All Pineapples.
Okay.
Oh, but then what do you put on pizza?
Well, that's true.
Oh, I bet this person hates me right now. Okay, your entire life is just gaps between thinking about saxophones. And you've just opened a new chapter. That's so dumb.
Yeah. Oddly enough, saxophones came up the other day.
Oh.
In my conversation. So my gap has been quite small.
Yeah. You thought about it pretty recently.
Yeah, about, I want to say, like, less than a week.
Okay. What were you talking about?
We were talking about the supermarket Aldi.
Yeah.
And their bizarre model of selling random products whenever. Right? Like their whole thing is, I think last week they were selling couches.
Yeah.
Just like for a week, they're like, we've got couches now.
Yeah.
And we were talking about specifically the impulse aisle in a shopping center, which is, for people that don't know, like the chocolate bars and the Tic Tacs and stuff like that. They're always right at the counter because it's the kind of thing you'd be like, oh yeah, why not? And you grab it and it's an impulse. Mm-hmm. And one time I was at Aldi and there was all those impulse items.
Yeah.
Right. So there was like the chocolate
like,
bars.
I'll grab a couch.
And then also next to it was a glass cabinet with a trumpet and a saxophone.
How big were these?
Like full size? Full size. They were like probably musical instruments. And I remember thinking, you'd only need one impulse, wouldn't you? to justify that. One person to be like, I throw in the trumpet.
Yeah. I've always wanted to learn.
I remember just thinking, that's such a weird place to put it. Yeah. But then I guess I was also thinking, I guess it's as good as any other place.
It seems like, yeah. Well, that's true because they are so random. Those items. But I think, I think the thing is, I could definitely justify that impulse buy because it seems like a bargain. Because you're like, if I saw like a saxophone for sale, I'd be like, "Phew,
yeah,
you don't see saxophones this price very often." And I don't know how much a saxophone is worth, but I'm betting it's not as cheap as one that's in the discount bin or the impulse aisle.
So maybe it's designed to confuse you as well, because you're right, you would go, geez, saxophone. I don't know anything about saxophones, but that seems like a good price.
Yeah.
But you're also at your most vulnerable because you're spending money.
Yeah.
Where you might be just like,
put it in. Whack it in.
Whack it in.
And you might... See, I would be inclined to be like, I'll just quickly research how much saxophones were.
Right.
And then realize how much I'm saving by buying this saxophone. Really, I'm earning money.
Yeah. Because then I can on-sell it.
Yeah.
I am a big fan, though, of the eclectic products that an Aldi will sell.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah. I was there the other day, 3D printers.
Yeah.
Just a ton of 3D printers at the end of one of the aisles.
Yeah. Why didn't you buy one?
What am I going to 3D print? Oh, 3D print like one thing. one thing that I need.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, now I've got this 3D printer.
That you need in brackets.
Yeah, but like I understand.
I've got this bottle opener.
Yeah. I've got this see-through vase.
Yeah.
I've got this small Yoda head.
Yeah. And I think the thing is as well that it's harder to... I think it's probably harder to 3D print things than you think. Well, I mean, there's a lot of like designs online that you can download, but if you're wanting to create something, I think it's way harder. No. Okay, anyway, here's another one.
Okay.
This is by Earth Troll. When a lifelong smoker dies of lung cancer, you never hear people say, at least they died doing something they love. You never hear that.
That's true.
But it's probably true.
You're a former smoker?
I'm a former smoker. I loved it.
Yeah, so that was my next question. Were you actually like, oh my God, this is the best?
Yeah. But then I suppose if I get lung cancer now and I die in I don't know, a few years, but I've already, I've quit for quite some time before lung cancer takes me, then does it apply by saying at least you died doing something you loved? Even though I'd given up smoking.
No, because you went...
And it would be in the cause of it, theoretically, let's say.
No, I don't think it does. Like, for instance, people say that of Paul Walker, because he died in a car crash going very fast.
Oh, yeah.
And they're saying he was a real rev head, so he died doing what he loved, which is driving fast. But you weren't... you need to be smoking at the time of your death.
My death. I need to be on my deathbed.
Yeah. Lighten up a cigarette.
Lighten up a ciggy.
Saying some cryptic last words.
Maybe I'll do. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's a new image for everybody. I'm in a hospital bed smoking. It's going to be a cigar, actually.
Yep.
I mean, I never really smoke cigars too much, but if I'm on my deathbed, it's going to be a cigar.
Yeah.
And I say, the flamingo has danced its last dance. And I blow a smoke ring.
Yeah, that's good.
And then a little arrow that goes through it. And then, because then you can say, wow, Nelson had some really cool last words, but also he did a really cool thing before he died.
A cool trick.
He did a cool trick.
And then he put out a deck of cards, and he told me to pick a card.
Yeah. But it was all non-verbal because I had already said the last.
said the last words. He implied I should pick a card.
I pulled a penny from behind your ear. Okay. Here's another one.
Okay.
This is by God's gift. There are numbers that can theoretically be said, but are so long that we physically can't live long enough to say. I thought that was really fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Certainly. When you really think about it, there's a number, and it's not that it looks long. I don't know why, but in my head I was like, oh, that would look really long, but I was like, no, but saying it for my entire life, if that's all I was doing, that's a really long number.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's almost an incomprehensibly large number.
Oh, no, I'm definitely comprehending it right now.
After trillion, I feel like everyone's brain goes a bit fuzzy.
Yeah. I go...
Because you like million, billion, trillion.
And then I assume that there's probably a trillion billion at some point.
Yeah, like quadtillion and...
Yeah. Oh, well, nah, you've lost me.
See, it's not that people don't... It's just fuzzy.
Yeah.
No one knows the order, really.
Yeah, exactly.
They keep going.
So you're right. So it wouldn't last my whole life because I'd get up to a number, I'd be like, I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another one.
Okay.
This is also a really dumb one, but I'm just going to do it, and then we'll move on.
All right. I'll get the theme ready.
This is by Lightning Bolt 724.
Yep.
Typing minimum on a keyboard is like playing a really crap game of ping pong. Just think about that.
Yeah. Well, it's luckily I have a keyboard up here, so I was just kind of darting my eyes. Yeah, pretty good. Swiftly moving along.
Swift. This is a Swift show. Okay. Oh, I've got 3. Why did I do that?
You don't have to do more, do you?
No, but now I have to choose one.
Oh, right.
Real quick.
Okay.
Okay. This is by World So Code. What's something dumb you believed as a kid?
So, I mean, I guess the obvious answer there is Santa Claus, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to let kids off the hook here.
Okay.
Because it is a dumb thing. But you know what? I don't feel the kids are dumb. Because when you think about it, the entire world is lying to them.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a conspiracy where the entire world is in on this. There's fake things on TV to throw you off.
Yeah.
The news reports that he's leaving the North Pole.
Yeah.
So you know what? As a kid, yeah, it's real dumb if you really think about it. But literally the whole world is in on this with you.
No, kids are dumb.
Yeah.
Let me explain why. Kids are dumb because of shopping center / mall Santas.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't know that that's not the real Santa.
Well, okay.
Because some of them are just horrific. They don't even look like Santa.
So maybe my parents were just very quick on their feet. But I remember them explaining to me once.
Yeah.
That they're like, Santa's so busy that he enlists people to help him.
Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes it is the Santa and sometimes it's not. And you'll never really know until you're there whether or not he was too busy and he sent one of his friends or not.
Yeah.
And I remember my head being like, that makes complete sense, actually.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, obviously he can get to every single house in the world in
Yeah,
one
yeah,
night.
yeah.
But
He can't be at this Westfield.
Yeah. I think I was told the same thing.
Yeah.
Actually. And I think I was kind of like, okay. Like, I think that was maybe, around the time when I was starting to get it.
Yeah.
Like, right, I mean, I guess he would do that, but it seems like, I think I would be, to me, I'd be like, well, why doesn't he just send his elves?
Yeah.
Just get tons of those.
Yeah.
And I know it's not Santa, but like, I'm sure he could pass a message on about what I want for Christmas.
Yeah.
I feel like Santa's just a bad thing in general. Do you reckon?
You think it's bad for kids?
Yeah, I reckon the materialistic, sort of undertone of Santa is really bad.
Yeah.
And only because I think it's like when you write lists of stuff that you want for Christmas.
Right. Yeah. It's a bad habit to be on, being like, I want this and I want this and I want this.
Yeah.
Also, I feel bad for parents that really nail a present and then get no credit.
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely not telling my kids straight away. I'll be like, that one was for me. Your mom wrote Santa on it, but trust me, it was for me.
What one did you like least? Yeah, that was Santa.
Yeah. He's the worst.
Who do you like more, Daddy or Santa?
Yeah.
But another one that later in life, I've had one of those, hey, wait a minute moments, was the old, you can't swim 30 minutes after eating rule.
Right.
Which I think was just clearly parents not wanting to have to go and supervise the kids straight away after a barbecue or something like that. They're like, oh, yeah, if you swim 30 minutes after you eat, you drown, so stay out of the water.
Is this... Right. Okay. I have to tell you something. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was a fake thing.
I'm just assuming here, it must be, right? What is 30 minutes going to do?
I mean, I think the idea is that not that you jam, but you can get a cramp. And I don't really understand the mechanics.
I just don't buy it.
But okay,
it seems to me a little white lie that parents tell kids.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's true. I don't see like a huge benefit for being like, I don't know, you'll get a cramp. I mean, I've never really had that problem where I've got a cramp after eating either. But I don't know. Okay,
I have swum immediately after eating.
Yeah.
My whole life, consequence-free.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
You.
So, in fact, if anyone knows why that is, that people say that, other than my theory that it's just a white lie people tell other people.
Yeah. Okay.
What is it? Because I'm genuinely curious.
Want like 30 minutes of like peace, or not peace.
Just like chatting, like, you're at a barbecue or whatever and you're chatting away and the kids are like, we want to go in the pool, and someone has to fucking supervise them.
Right.
And you're just like,
this is pretty like new age.
It's going to take 30 minutes or you fucking die.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I want to know the answer now.
Yeah.
So
I could tell you, but you made the rule about no Googling in the show.
Well, yeah, we can't Google.
Okay.
But listeners can write in after they've Googled.
And we implore you to.
Yes. I was going to say my one, actually, which was when I was a kid, I was convinced that my mum and dad's name was Mum and Dad. and you might be like, oh, well, yeah, that's fair enough. You were like a young kid. That's all you ever called them.
Yeah.
But I called them Mum and Dad even in primary school years. And I remember thinking one time, I don't know how it came up, but it was like somebody in my class was like, oh, my mum's name is this and my dad's name is this or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's weird. My mum and dad's name is just Mum and Dad. That's so strange. Like I feel like I found out way too late into my childhood that it's inexcusable that I kept thinking that.
Did you admit to it, or did you pretend like you always knew as well?
I mean, I don't remember. It's like one of those real vague memories that like I know happened because that's the moment that I sort of had that realization. Like,
because now I feel like I lean into all of my mistakes, right?
Yeah.
If I make a mistake, I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm an idiot and this is what happened. But as a kid, I reckon I would have just denied it.
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, yeah, I knew all along.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, the funniest thing that happened the other day was I was hanging out with my family and my nephew, my brother's son, I kept calling my brother Uncle James, even though it's his dad, because my niece kept calling him Uncle James.
Right.
And he just like, my nephew copies everything my niece does. So I was like, man, that feels real bad.
Yeah.
And then I felt kind of like underprivileged being an uncle. It's like, no, I'm the uncle.
And again, we're not parents, so it'd be hard to judge. But I imagine, as a dad, your son calling you uncle would really hurt.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with uncles. Uncles are great.
Yeah.
But it's just like, they're a tier under dad. You know, like,
yeah.
You're like, no, I'm.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, here's another one.
Okay.
This is by The Beast is Back, 2007.
Oh, shit.
You have been hired by Vault Tech to design a vault for 100 survivors to live for 200 years. You decide to make it a social experiment. What is the experiment?
Oh, okay.
It's a bit of a tricky one. And I feel like this is one where I had thought about an answer, and now I can't remember. So we are now both thinking very hard on it.
So, I guess we can think out loud. The question is, what part of human nature are you most curious about?
I think I want to mess around with like distrust.
Okay.
Because I think that's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Like, just some idea. Oh, okay, maybe it's this then. I say to each side. So I think I split them into two sides.
Yeah, there's Vault A and Vault B.
Vault A and Vault B. Okay, maybe this, right?
Yeah.
I split it into two sides, A and B, but men and women as well, I think, just to make it a bit more interesting.
Okay.
And they are separated for almost all the time, except to procreate.
Right.
And when you're a child, maybe you like, I don't know, the like mothers would have to look after it because of breastfeeding. I'm thinking real technical about this all of a sudden. But okay, so not just that.
Yeah.
But then you tell the other side that they are criminals.
Okay, so the women think the men are criminals, the men think the women are criminals.
Women are criminals.
None of them are criminals. Statistically, some of them might be criminals.
Well, they might be. Yeah. No, because these are 100 hand-picked people to survive a calamity. Uh-huh. So they would all be upstanding citizens.
You could get 100 not criminals.
But maybe you have to kind of say, I don't know, something went wrong and we had to get people from the women's prison or the men's prison and lock them up. Because I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that moment of when they have to meet each other to procreate.
Sure.
I think they would both maybe be a bit more scared of each other. And also that I think you would just forever think of the other side as just like worst scum of the earth. Even if you, because this is going on for 200 years, so like generations would change over, but I think you would still have that animosity against the other side because you think they're like more criminals. I don't know actually if it works totally with the idea of men and women. I want to break it up because I think it's interesting that if they to survive, they have to meet each other like at one point.
So I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be gender. There needs to be something, say, once a month that they all have to meet for.
Yeah.
And each side thinks the other are criminals.
Yeah.
Well, whether or not it's just like recreation of some kind.
Yeah,
like
basketball game.
It's a monthly basketball game. Yeah. And each side
the winner gets food.
Okay, and this is what I don't like about this experiment, right? Because a social experiment, I think the thing that's most satisfying is because I imagine wearing lab coats.
Okay.
When we walk out and we go, well, isn't this interesting?
Yeah.
You're all fucking idiots. None of you are prisoners.
Yeah.
This was a social experiment.
Yep.
And everyone goes, oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah. But this is meant to go for 200 years.
Yeah. We would never get that.
We'd
would
cut
never
it short.
Experience that. Okay.
We'd cut it short. When I get bored of it after about 4 years.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it would just be a normal bunker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the social experiment wouldn't last the 200 years.
Okay.
Just for my own vanity. I want to be the smug guy in the lab coat saying, well.
Oh, maybe it could be the last words you say on your deathbed.
That's good. Wheel me out on my bed.
Yeah.
Well. I didn't get to finish.
Yeah. Or maybe in this reality, we're immortal.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, 200 years. What's 200 years?
What's 200 years to an immortal person?
No. A couple of generations, I guess. But.
Yeah. Any other ideas? Any other aspects of human interaction that you would like to explore?
I don't think honestly, I don't think I could do one that was more interesting than that. I actually really like that as a thing, like that whole, how would you treat others if you think that they were prisoners?
Yeah, you told. I feel
also,
like that's
thematically ties into our prison chat that we've seeded through the podcast.
Yeah. Didn't I tell you this episode's prison theme?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
sorry.
because it's been 6 years since the finale of Prison Break.
Don't check that.
Don't check that. No Googling during the podcast. Even if you're a listener.
That extends to our listenership. Don't Google. Give us your attention. Don't Google.
Yeah. But anywho, let's get on with this show. Cambo, have you just checking? Have you done the intro to the next section yet?
Yeah, it's ready to go.
Because I know that you've been really wanting to do this, begging to, if anything.
Yep.
So feel free to.
Yep. You ready?
Yep.
I'm just going to hit play on the theme I got. Ready?
Yep.
And play. But it's the new segment that doesn't have a proper name.
Good.
Yep.
Good. It does have a name though.
Well,
we gave one last week.
It has several.
It
is my point of contention.
It has several.
Yeah.
So you came up with I think really stupid name last week. If we go back last week.
I came up with the name Repodding.
Which was because I said it should be like reposting.
Yes.
That's what Reddit does. You came up with Repodding.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we should say this segment is where we steal a segment or a topic of conversation from another podcast that we listen to during the week, and we try to do it better.
Yeah.
But it won't be. It'll be worse. No. But, we're just going to do it. We're going to steal it.
Yeah. It's like, how remakes aren't as good.
Yeah.
That's this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then we had Hazim write in again. And he actually wrote, I'm going to read his email. Mm-hmm. He said, awesome to hear myself in the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for the shout out. See, you could just be like Hazim. Listeners?
Yeah.
You could feel awesome.
You could have the highs that Hazim has felt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I realized I hadn't rated you yet when you mentioned it, so I went and hit the 5 stars in brackets out of 10. bracket/S bracket. And then heard you say to wait till the 30th. Whoops. We'll explain that later. Anyway, gonna throw this out there. Feel free to laugh it off, ignore it, take credit for it. But another name for repodding, wait for it, Robcasting.
Okay.
Basking in the applause, Hazim.
Yep. Okay.
So
I guess we are kind of Robcasting, aren't we?
We are Robcasting. I quite like that. I think that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Hazim was rubbish.
And now, listen, you could feel the lows that Hazim is feeling right now. You could feel it all.
No, look, it's better than Repodding.
Yeah.
Which, again, I think we mentioned that was yours. So I just want to really pin this one on you, okay?
I mean, context is important. I think you said, what's a name? And it was the first one I thought of.
Yeah.
Give me some fucking slack, Nelson.
But that's all you've got. Everybody only gets one. That was your one.
That's true. It came out of my mouth, therefore I must take credit for it.
Yeah.
I can only apologize to listeners that I've wasted your time with the shit that is Repodding.
I'm embarrassed for you.
I am embarrassed for me too.
Okay. But I, of course, have come up with the best name.
Okay.
Which,
just to be clear, listeners, he's trashed Repodding. He's poo-pooed Robcasting.
Yeah.
Listen now to Nelson's definitive name for this segment.
The new segment is called Podnapping.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's not bad.
I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I think of the three, I've clearly won. Anyway, so although you're making the theme, so maybe next week it'll be whatever.
Yeah. Like Nelson's an idiot.
Okay, anyway, so I think this week this was my one that I had to come up with. Wait, I don't know whether we established this or I said it in my head.
You definitely said it in your head. We've established nothing.
Okay, right. So I thought for this segment is we take it in turns.
Uh-huh.
So we don't have to each think of one each week.
Okay.
Because that's way too much effort.
Yeah.
So we have like a fortnight to think of one, plus an added week if a listener writes in.
Sure.
And gets us to do a segment of a podcast that they listen
to. Yep.
So you did the first one,
yep.
Then Hazim wrote in, and we did his. So now I'm just going to do my one.
Yep. And then it's my turn again. Then it's Hazim's turn again.
It's Hazim's turn again.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Right, so I was listening to No Such Thing as a Fish.
Yes, okay.
This is just like a fact podcast.
Yes, it's the official podcast of the TV show QI.
Yep. True. And so their fact was that the company Rocher, who makes Ferrero Rochers and Nutella, consumes 1/3 of the hazelnuts in the world to make their products.
Wow.
And I thought, that's absurd.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I don't know, because to me, like, sure, Nutella's pretty popular. Mm-hmm. A lot of people like Nutella.
Sure.
Ferrero Rochers, I'm like, I quite like a Ferrero Rocher. But
I do too, but I feel people have too much confidence in a Ferrero Rocher as the perfect gift.
Oh, right.
Because it's always seen as you only ever give it as a gift, right? Being like, I've gone above and beyond. I could have got you regular chocolate, but I've got you a Ferrero Rocher.
Has gold wrapping.
It has gold wrapping.
Yes.
An inconvenient little tray.
Yeah. Yes. No, actually, I've got a Ferrero Rocher tray that I use. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the little paper tray at the bottom of each Ferrero.
Yeah. What's that for?
It's inconvenient.
Yeah.
My point is, I don't think the quality is enough, like, better than normal chocolate.
Okay.
To really put it as like king of chocolate gifts.
You are the chocolate master.
That's true.
So
it's a title that was bestowed upon me. I took it.
Yep.
I took it reluctantly.
Yep.
But I was the best at chocolate, so I had to.
Yeah. Didn't want to, but you were just the bloody best. What did you do to achieve that goal?
I ate so much chocolate.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Good. Now that's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm that that was indeed how you become the king of chocolate, so to speak. Okay. So and I thought it was interesting because I was like, I don't think it's that popular enough to warrant 1/3. This is the other thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Either that's a ton of hazelnuts, or there aren't that many hazelnuts in the world.
Okay, so here's my thought, right? You're like, wow, that's crazy. And then my other thought was, well, I've never bought hazelnuts.
Yeah.
Are they something that you eat by themselves as much as another nut?
Yeah.
Or is it like sesame seeds, where people could be like, McDonald's uses half the world's sesame seeds, and I'd probably go, yeah, it makes sense. I don't really use sesame seeds in that much. Maybe in a stir fry or something, but
yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. Well, in fact, I don't think I've ever used hazelnuts before, like just by themselves in cooking or anything. And because I eat quite a lot of nuts, but I don't reckon I ever just like, well, I'm just going to buy some roasted hazelnuts or something.
So maybe they are, because like you always get hazelnuts in something, or like a Nutella spread or a why can't I say this? Ferrero Rocher. Some people say Rocher.
Yeah, I've heard Rocher as well. I don't know. I don't care enough to correct myself.
So when you said Rocher, I'm like, oh, good, that's how I say it.
Yeah,
I'm glad that I didn't have to start pretending I've always said it the other way as well.
Maybe it's an Australian thing.
I think it
Rocher.
is. And I'm pretty sure it's wrong.
Yeah. I think it's probably wrong too.
But anyway, my point was maybe hazelnuts are only something that's ever really mainly in or on other things, and independently they're not brought that much.
Yeah. But even then, that's still a lot. That's even just thinking about, like, I suppose not everything, but there would still be some things. Yeah. And they're taking out one thing.
Because you would think Nutella would use a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the same company.
Oh, right.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Right. So they've got 100% of the
hazelnut
products that we ever eat. I can't even think of another hazelnut thing that I eat.
I don't know what it is about Nutella. But it's the one thing where, like, peanut butter, say, you can pretty much buy any brand of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And it's basically going to be the same.
Yeah.
But the other day I was in the supermarket and there was Nutella, and then next to it there was just, like, Coles brand hazelnut spread. And I was like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
It's weird that one brand is so dominant over all other hazelnut chocolate spread.
Yeah, that's true.
Because have you ever eaten another hazelnut chocolate spread? I assume they're the same.
My mum tried to create one once. Actually, I think she even used a little bit of Nutella or the same. Oh, no. I think she used some other chocolate something because she was trying to make a healthy Nutella to sell to Ferrero Rocher. And let me tell you, was not that tasty.
No.
She was making it with something that's like meant to be sort of good for you. Anyway.
I don't know if you've ever seen, and if you haven't, Google it after the show.
After the show. No Googling during.
There is like an infograph. Someone has filled up a jar of Nutella with the raw ingredients of Nutella.
Oh,
what the base ingredients kind of are.
Yeah.
It's real scary.
Yeah.
In fact, I haven't really had Nutella since I saw it.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, I'd probably still eat that stuff anyway.
No, give it offered to me, I probably would.
Yeah. It's like I know for a fact that sausages have gross stuff in them. I'm still going to eat sausages.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, actually, don't Google it. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss.
Don't Google anything ever. But I think why Nutella tastes so great is because it uses palm oil, and palm oil destroys lots of forests and kills many pandas. So you can taste the tears of the orphaned children pandas.
Yeah. It's kind of like they say, like when you steal someone's chocolate bar or when you get something, like it always tastes better.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe palm oil, it's the guilt is what it is.
Yeah.
Guilt tastes great.
You've crushed somebody's home effectively.
Yeah.
And by God, does that taste great. Yeah. a little bit of cocoa in there, pull.
Yeah.
And some hazelnut.
You've got guilt. You've got the two best things. You've got guilt and sugar in a single product.
Yeah, that's right. Next time, I'm going to try... No, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. Yeah. So that was Podnapping.
Yep.
And oh crap, I can't unlock my phone. But now we can get into Ask Me Anything, where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can ask us anything you want.
Yeah, so we got one here from Cousin Rowan. He says, "Gentlemen, hoping this episode is a solid 6 out of 10, as I'll be listening to it as I drive to Melbourne." What do you reckon? How are we doing on the scale?
It's less than a 6.
Yeah. I mean, let us know how the drive was. Did we make your drive worse?
Yeah.
I guess is that question.
Yeah.
As you previously discussed, you went on a long road trip across Australia. That's correct.
Yep.
AMA 57.0. What was the best things and the worst things about the trip? Cheers, Cousin Rowan.
So,
yeah, I guess for context, people that haven't heard, some time ago, we drove from Western Australia all the way back home to Melbourne, which, for some context, for people that don't know Australia that well, I think is longer than Europe. One side of Europe to the other.
Okay.
Yeah. Not by much, but it's as if you drove from the top of Europe to the bottom. Okay. Or maybe it's across. I don't know. Someone once told me that fact.
Yeah, okay.
And I've half remembered it.
You know what? It's longer than Russia and Europe combined.
Yep.
Don't Google that.
No.
It's part of the show rule now.
Anyway, it's a long drive.
It's a long drive.
It's a long drive.
We did it in 5 days?
I think 6.
Was it? Oh.
I don't know. We're gone for a week all up. I guess we were in Perth for a day or 2. So yeah, probably 5 days.
I thought it was less. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. 5 days.
Yeah, so it was a really good trip. I think we've said before on the show that it was probably the best trip we've been on. I can't remember if you said that. I know I said that.
No, I agree.
Yeah, just because there was something really awesome, and I still want to go again.
Yeah.
On some other road tripping trip, because I feel like it was I felt like there was a lot of freedom.
Yes. So I guess we can start with the best things. And for me, at least, the best thing was there's a town called Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. And that's about maybe 2 hours outside of Perth.
Yeah.
Once you leave there, until you reach Adelaide, essentially, which is several days.
Yeah.
No reception.
Yeah.
And that is actually great.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a detox almost. They say people look at their phones up to 900 times a day, just small glances and stuff like that.
Right, yep.
And without any reception or any connection to anything like that, that number goes down. Essentially, you use it as a watch sometimes.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think maybe we listen to some music on it.
Yeah,
it really kind of detoxes you from devices, which I really liked.
Okay, yeah.
And I found that we, because of it, had way better conversations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I sometimes just use earplugs.
Yeah, obviously.
We'll get onto the worst parts later. But yeah, that's true. And I think it was the best parts for me was, and I feel like this is probably even more specific to, very specific to this Australian road trip, is that you could hit parts of the road where if you look at the horizon in any direction, there is nothing obscuring your view.
No.
It is totally straight.
Flat.
There's totally flat. There's maybe some small shrubs and stuff, and it's kind of red sort of deserty dirt / sand kind of in all directions. And that I really love that because I don't think you can experience that many places in the world where you can literally be in. Well, isn't there a thing that's at one point in the trip you are closer to you're closer to outer space than you are the next town?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think.
Okay.
I think there was a point on there where it's a point in the road where you're actually closer to outer space.
Wow.
Just to give you some perspective of I guess
how barren
it was. And I think we were lucky as well because I think we went at a time when it wasn't too hot because and that made it much more leisurely trip where it was still really warm, but I think you can get caught in some super ridiculously disgusting weather.
Yeah.
And so that made it easier driving in the middle of nowhere and having these cool sights because otherwise you might just want to quickly get to somewhere that has air conditioning.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as worst, there's only really one thing that sticks out of my mind.
Right.
And this is something I guess only people that have done the trip or truckers would come across, which is there are certain sections of highway that go for many kilometers that have apparent ghost towns of roadworks.
Yeah.
Where there would just be roadworks set up for kilometers.
Yeah.
I would say conservatively one of them was about 10 kilometers of roadworks.
Yeah.
With not a single human in sight.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's right.
Weirdly, you're so scared that you're going 60k an hour the whole time.
Yeah. It was really... Yeah, that's right. It was really confusing. What are they doing? I mean, I get that they have to maintain the roads, but nobody's here.
yeah. And like, it's not like we're on some obscure time on a weekend or something like that.
Yeah. Would it have been during the weekday?
Yeah,
like
that's weird.
Working hours. Anyway, maybe it's just been there forever. Nobody's like bothered to
back it up,
go back out there and fix the road.
Yeah.
I can't really think of like a bad thing that happened on that trip, really.
No.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, we killed that guy, buried him in the outback, but they'll never find him.
Yeah, well, we got away with it.
Yeah.
It was a good thing.
Yeah. It's that tasty guilt.
Yeah, that's
all the meals.
As we were burying it. Okay, here's another question.
Okay.
Hey, guys. What would you do if you're the last person on the planet? Cheers, Justin. That's a short one.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, that's fine. You can write in to do a short one.
Yeah.
I challenge you to have a question has less words than that.
Oh, jeez, all right. Yeah. What's good? I used it at the start of the show. Cracker of an opening.
That was pretty good.
So, okay, it depends. I'm the last person on Earth. Mm-hmm. Is there still internet connection? Because if there is, I'd essentially...
For a period of time, I will allow it. But not for the rest of your life.
Okay. Well, while there's internet connection, I'd essentially just do what I do anyway, which is lay on my bed.
Okay.
Scroll through the internet.
But nothing's
with
getting updated.
Reckless abandon. Oh,
it's
there's
like,
enough on the internet.
It's like Reddit's not getting updated. Because I think I'd have the problem. I'd go onto Reddit and I'd scroll through a little bit. And then I'd try to refresh. I'm like, oh, it's all just the same again. Look,
I learned to love formats on YouTube that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd get into unboxings.
Okay.
I'm sure there's enough unboxings on the internet to keep me satisfied.
True. Yeah.
With the internet, honestly, I don't know if I'd change that much.
Okay.
Probably a bit of looting.
I do a lot of looting.
Yeah.
I do a lot of looting. I download tons of porn for when the internet obviously does run out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. In fact, that's most of my prep time. We live in a large apartment block. I would go to every house, use every computer, I'd download all the types of porn.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not into this specific genre at the moment.
Yeah.
But I want to get it in case.
There's definitely going to be like at least 5 to 10 computers that's gay porn. I'm not into gay porn, but just maybe one day if I get really bored,
maybe one day
I might get into it.
Yeah.
And then I think I'd loot a lot. I mean, I think I would just kind of live in other places.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like I would loot a store and be like, oh, I'm just gonna have a nap here. Like go to like a supermarket, some sort of bedding store, and just be like, oh, I'll just have a nap.
I'm imagining this is a peaceful last man on Earth situation. I'm assuming it's not a I Am Legend
like zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, where it's like get in by nightfall and shut all the security shutters and stuff like that. I'm assuming I could just go sleep whenever I want it.
Yes, I'm thinking that it says you're the last human on Earth. Justin wrote. So I think what's happened is everybody's evacuated to Mars.
Yeah,
I've slept in.
Yeah.
Whoops. And so didn't make the shuttle. And do you know what I think actually also I would do? Presuming there's no humans, but maybe there'd be animals.
Sure.
I think I'd just befriend more dogs.
Right.
I'm not even a dog person.
No, that's something you don't do now in your current state is befriend dogs.
Yeah.
But maybe you would.
But I think I'd be like, oh, I want some sort of like companionship. Companionship. So, and let's like
Plus,
maybe more animals in general.
Here's the good thing, right? If you befriend a dog, right?
Yep.
You're good buddies with it. And then later on it turns out that there is another human.
Oh.
And they find all your porn.
Oh.
You can be like, it was the dog.
It was the dogs.
It was the dog.
It was... I can't get him off the stuff.
Even though it's a dog, it's very much a scapegoat.
Yeah, yes. Well, maybe I'll have a scapegoat for that reason. And I meet that human, they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, hey, this is my dog, Fred, and also my scapegoat. I mean, just regular goat, Steve. Yeah. That's what I'd do.
Yep.
I'd play tons of games, actually. If there was still electricity and stuff, that is what I would do. Like, the only thing from stopping me from playing games at the moment is just the rest of life.
Yeah.
And I think that I wouldn't care as much about my weight or anything or my fitness.
Well, who are you going to impress?
Well, yeah. And I don't think I'm like super vain in that sense. And I kind of like the idea of like just being healthy. You know, like I don't eat total shit all the time because I just like being healthier. But I think that if there's just no one else around, I care less about my health because I'm like, well, I'm not living for anybody else. No. I'm living to play games. Right. So, yeah, I just think that's what I do.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Anyway, that's it for the show.
Yep.
Thank you for writing in, Justin and Rowan. We really appreciate it. And if you would like to write in, like those two, you can do so by emailing us at readitpodcast, readitpodcast @gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also reach us at Facebook, at Twitter, and our subreddit.
Golly gee.
It's all READIT podcast.
And one of them, and we won't tell you which, is a secret way to earn $10.
Ooh.
So try them all.
Okay. Yep. Sure.
No one's going to tweet us.
Yeah, no one's going to tweet us. And also, we'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe on whatever podcast app you're listening to us on right now, and also rate us. But we don't want you to rate us just yet.
No. In fact, don't you dare.
Don't you dare. So we basically want to cheat the system.
Yeah.
And without going into too much detail, basically on the 30th of October, that is the moment in which you should rate us.
Yes.
If you've just missed it, you can still rate us then.
Yeah.
But not before at all.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
No. Yeah, rating after the 30th of October, it won't hurt us.
Yeah. But
rating before will.
Waiting before will just ruin our chances to bend the system.
Yes, exactly.
Do you reckon we, let's say, all of a sudden, for some reason, all our listeners decide, okay, I'm actually going to do this on the 30th.
Sure.
And then we get into, like, the top charts of Apple and, like, I don't know, other podcasting apps. And they're like, wait a second. This is suspicious. And then they listen to, like, these episodes. And then we get boycotted forever.
Nah.
Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll read you later.